Welcome to the Remote Viewing Bonus Workshop, part of the Developing the Inner Senses for 2012 program presented by the Inner Life Society. I'm Dr. Antonia M., founder and spiritual director of the Inner Life Society, which is a nonprofit spiritual organization for the practice of wisdom, spirituality, and enlightenment. So, what is remote viewing? Remote viewing is gathering information about a distant, unseen target, whether it's an event, a location, an object, or person, using your paranormal, your extrasensory, or your intuitive abilities. Now, what is remote viewing for 2012? Well, like remote viewing, it's still gathering information about a distant, unseen target, but in remote viewing for 2012, you're viewing that target not only in space but also in time. You want to go across a dimensional threshold or beyond the event horizon to observe a target at a future date and time. So that's what you'll be learning to do in this workshop. You'll be practicing techniques and exercises to help you heighten your inner senses, to help you see across time and space, and to witness key personal events for 2012. Now, how is remote viewing possible? Well, it's important to understand that time is not really linear. It's just that we observe time in a linear fashion in this dimension. But it's a little bit more like a movie reel. When you're sitting in the theater, as the movie film goes through the projector, you see things play out in a linear fashion, moment by moment. You become aware of what's happening moment by moment. But in reality, the entire story is already there. It's already on the roll. So what remote viewing allows you to do is to kind of step out of the timeline, so to speak, so that you can view any frame. It's like you have your own built-in projector, and you can move that film to any place so that you can observe what's happening. You can project the contents of reality onto a screen in your mind, so to speak. So what you'll be learning in the workshop are techniques for stepping outside of the timeline. You'll learn how to refocus your perception, because really it is your perception that gives you the illusion of time happening in a linear fashion. By learning to refocus your perception and your awareness, you can control what you're seeing and when you see it. And we'll be learning exercises to target specific frames, meaning if you want to see an exact date, an exact time in the future, or in the past for that matter. There are important foundations that you'll need to remember as you go through this workshop and practice the techniques. And of course, practice is one of those important foundations. It takes practice to develop the sensitivity and accuracy you need to remote view effectively. If you're very serious about developing this ability and using it, I recommend practicing on a daily basis. If you have friends who are also interested, I recommend that you practice on a regular basis with your friends as well to help increase the energy, the power, the focus that you're using to enhance this ability. This is not something that will happen for you overnight unless you happen to be naturally gifted with the ability for remote viewing. Another important foundation is openness. It's important to keep the channels of perception clear. That means keeping your mind open. It means keeping your chakras open. In addition to the techniques that you'll be given in the workshop to help you develop your remote viewing skills, you may also want to include practices like meditation, self-healing, healthy eating, cleansing, purifying your mind, your body, your spirit. All of those things assist you in connecting more easily with your ability to see. The third important foundation, non-attachment. to help you minimize remote blindness. And what that means is, if you're taking this workshop because you want to see what's going to happen in 2012, or you want to see what you're going to be doing in 2012, it's important not to come with preconceived notions of what will happen, because that can influence what you see. And rather than remote viewing, you could end up just imagining and daydreaming. Clarity is key for remote viewing successfully. So let's begin. Before practicing remote viewing, you'll want to do some warm-ups to prepare yourself for the practice. And these are very simple. To help you heighten your inner senses, you can begin first by stretching. And it doesn't have to be any particular kind of stretching, but the idea is that you want to stretch your entire body from the tip of your toes to the top of your head. It can be the same kind of stretch that you do in the morning when you wake up. You want to relax the muscles, you want to stretch the joints, you want your body to be as flexible as possible, because that also helps your mind to be as flexible as possible. The stretching also helps you in being present. Although we're remote viewing at a distant location, a distant time in the future, or a distant time in the past, you have to begin by being as present as possible in the current moment. So in addition to stretching helping you be more flexible, the stretching can be a first step in helping you to be more present. So as you stretch, you want to be consciously aware of your body from the tip of your toes to the top of your head. You want to be present and aware in regards to where you are. Once you're done with your stretching, sit. Be aware of your feet on the ground. Be aware of how you're sitting, what you're sitting on. You want to be relaxed, you want your feet flat on the ground, and you want your spine to be erect. You want to be as aware as possible of yourself in this moment, in as relaxed a state and in as correct a posture as possible. Once you achieve that, the next part of your warm-up is to focus on the current frame, meaning earlier we talked about remote viewing being something like being able to pick any frame from a film and focus on it. Imagine where you are now as a frame. You want to be as aware of the frame as possible. So we started off by becoming aware of it in our body, by being aware of how we're sitting. Gradually now become aware of other things in the frame. Become aware of what you hear in the room. Become aware of what you smell. Become aware of anything that you taste, anything that you feel. Take in as much of the frame as you possibly can through your 5 senses, all the while staying aware of yourself and maintaining a state of relaxation.